Hey, hello everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the OT Talk Show. My name is Abena, and today I'm here with
Dr. Kojo.
Kushia couldn't make it today because, as you know, doctors from Ujumani. And apologies, I've lost my voice a little bit as well, so I'm sounding a bit croaky. So if you can't hear me, that's fine. We'll get to the host later, but before we get to her, let me do some housekeeping and then I'll allow her to introduce herself and what she's got to tell us today. Last week we got criticism for speaking too much brothel, so I'll try and mix like tree here and there, but please bear with me. So first of all, welcome everybody. As you know, we are hosted by TAPTAP Send and OT Media. So please continue to download TAPTAP Send. And now on to our guest. Today we have Miss Rita. Have I got there? Yeah, it's Rita. And she's going
to hi.
Sorry, I actually practiced how to mention this, but it's left.
I know it's hard.
Right, I'll let you introduce the topic and tell us about it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Rita. I've been on the show previously. So I work as a colorectal nurse practitioner at St. Thomas. So the last time I was talking about colon cancer, and then I did promise I talked about the large intestines, and then I did promise I'll talk about the small intestines. But today I kind of switch it up, and then today I'm going to talk about cholecystitis. And there's a reason this is a topic dear to me. I mean, I work so I did explain last time the stomach or the intestines, we have upper and lower, and I work in the lower side of things. But what the topic that I'm talking about today is about the upper side of things because it's very dear to me and very personal to me, which I'll share with everybody today and hopefully share light on it. And we learn from each other and see how best we can sort of look after ourselves when these things happen. So, yeah.
You're muted.
Well, without further ado, Rita, if you could just go ahead and take off for us.
Sure. Dr. Okay. Thank you. I've got a slide that I'm going to try and share with everybody. Let me try and go back. So I'm trying to go back and then I'll just see if I can share. So basically, this topic is about cholecystitis. I'll try to go back and see if my back button don't work, but I'll move forward. So I don't know if you can see the lady on the screen. There she is. So cholecystitis. And I don't know if, we can see this lady. She's very famous Nigerian actress. Recently, she came out on her social media and she was thanking God for her life because she had an episode where she was admitted into hospital and she had an emergency surgery. And from what she was describing, it sounded more or less that she had issues with her gallstones which led to cholecystitis. So with my presentation, I always try to make it relatable. So I always try to find a famous person who's gone through this situation and we can all relate to it. So that's her, Omotola. I'm sure most people know her. And that's her in sort of when she went in the hospital and she was going for surgery, I suppose. The reason why I want to talk about cholecystitis today is, before I go into the presentation, is because I also had cholecystitis and I knew nothing. I mean, I've worked in healthcare since 2012 and I knew literally nothing about it until it happened to me. So I feel like most of us, if as a healthcare practitioner, I didn't know, then the average person probably don't know much about it. Hence why I want to share light today. So in February last year, I experienced some pain in my stomach, which was like right upper top stomach. And then the pain is so weird. You can't figure out what it is. It was very painful. I didn't know what it was. And I thought, okay, painkillers, it will be fine. I took painkillers for a few days. Nothing happened. I was still in pain. It was getting worse. I ended up going to my local hospital. They didn't do much there because it's a tertiary hospital. So I decided to go to my hospital at St. Thomas, and they did further investigations, which they found that I had cholecystitis, which is, I'll explain exactly what it is in the presentation. But I was so scared, even as a healthcare practitioner, thinking, what is this and how is this going to be resolved or managed? And then I'll go into deep. Eventually, I ended up having surgery because that's how serious it is. And I've never had surgery in my life. I've never been sick. I'm young, I'm fit, I'm healthy. So why did I get this? That's the question. And I'm sure if this happens to any of us, we will wonder, why will we get it? It just happened. So I just thought I'll share light on it today. So basically what cholecystitis is basically inflammation of the gallbladder. And I don't know if you can see the presentation. This is obviously our liver, and underneath our liver, we have a gallbladder there. And a lot of people have heard of gallstones. So basically, this is not gallstone. A lot of people have heard of kidney stones. So basically, this is gallstones. So stones in your gallbladder, basically, that's what it means. And this is in depth, which I don't want to go too much about, but this is the gallbladder. It contains bile, which helps with breaking down the fatty. When you eat fat food, you need your bile, the bile in there. It's a liquid that helps to break down the fatty foods and that transfer into the stomach. So basically, that's what it's explaining about, a little bit about the anatomy of the body. So basically, the gallbladder holds fluids when you digest food. This fluid is called the bile, as I talked about. Gallbladder releases bile into the small intestine, often gallstones that blocks the tubes. So basically, you have stones into the tube. I'll go back again. So if you have gallstones, it goes into the tube and it tends to block the tube. Hence why you experience the pain or inflammation if this happens. And that's exactly what this is saying here. And the symptoms that you mainly experience, which is what I experienced, was severe pain, which is really on the top right of your abdominal or your stomach, to the top right, severe pain. And the pain that I had was irradiating to my back as well. So you have pain in your back area. And then a lot of people was asking me, am I pregnant? Because I really did vomit. I had lots of nausea and vomiting. I felt feverish and had high temperatures. This vomiting is a very classic signs and symptoms, which sometimes you may be confusing it if people think, oh, you're pregnant because you're vomiting, which is not true. It's because you've got gallstones and inflammation of the gallbladder as well. And then what happened to me as well, the yellowish of the skin. So I became jaundice, severely jaundice. My eyes were all yellowed. My urine was extremely yellow. It's because the bowels has been built up and there's nowhere to escape to because of the blockage of the stones into the tube. So, and then you have some bloatiness in the abdominal as well. And I had no appetite at all. That was part of my symptoms. So how would I know? How would one know if they have cholecystitis or they have an issue with the gallbladder or the stones in the gallbladder? So basically, once you experience this pain, the first thing is obviously you go and see your GP. They will do some basic abdominal examination. I must tell you, initially when it happened, I went to see my GP, and then it's very confusing. They confused it with they thought it was acid reflux. So they gave me a lot of on lansoprazole, which I took, but nothing happened, So the GP, usually they will do blood tests to check if there's any inflammation in the body. So they will do your CRP, your white cells, just the inflammation markers, just to find out if there's any infection going on. What I had done was ultrasound scan of my abdominal, and that was what confirmed that I had gallstones, and also I had some inflammation of the gallbladder. So that's the main test that they did to find out. And then they did other sounds. But when I became really ill and I went to St. Thomas Hospital, they did further tests. So, the gallstones is it moved. So if it moved, they will do other investigations such as MRI, sometimes just to find out where they are and if they can remove it before they can do surgery about it. So treatment option, initially, if it's not severe, what they will tell you is, I wouldn't say more or less fasting, but more or less eating less fatty food, because the more fatty food you eat, it can't break down. So that's what will cause more pain when the bowels cannot be released into the intestines. So eat less fatty food, first of all, keeping well hydrated with fluids. And if some people are admitted, not necessarily for surgery, but also for antibiotic therapy. So they'll give you antibiotics to reduce the inflammation around the gallbladder, therefore, and then it will reduce the pain that you may have. So these are some of the treatments that you can have other than surgery. And hopefully, if that's settled, that's fine. But I'm not going to lie to anyone, to be honest. Once you've had inflammation of the gallbladder and you've diagnosed to have cholecystitis, you will likely end up having surgery, which I couldn't believe because I tried to wing it off from February till December. So I was hoping that I didn't have surgery. But I keep getting attacked every now and then. I will have pain. So then I had to have the surgery. And I should have had the surgery initially when I experienced it, because by the time I had the surgery, I was in a worse situation. So that's what I wanted to highlight to people. And the surgery that is given is you have a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, which means there's a keyhole surgery that they will do. Is only maybe 1 or 2 hours surgery, and then you can go home on the same day, which is good. But depending on the severity of your condition, you may have an open surgery, which means you probably will stay overnight in hospital, which would be I don't know, would not be good, obviously, but it all depends on your condition as well. And then it says, although some people who have had their gallbladder removed have reported symptoms of bloatiness and diarrhea after eating certain type of food, because remember, once your gallbladder is removed, there's no bowel production. So, the bowel production is gone. So therefore, sometimes if you eat, like, for example, if you eat pizza, you may feel sick because it's taking longer for the breakdown to happen. So you may feel a little bit sicker, but it's okay. And also some people have diarrhea, which they've experienced, but I haven't experienced any of that, thank God. So that's part of the side effect. And then possible complication is without appropriate treatment, acute cholecystitis can lead to potential life-threatening complication, which I was in. The main complication will be death of the tissue of the gallbladder, and it can cause further infection, which can spread elsewhere in the body, which is not good, which is what we want to prevent. And also, of course, you can perforate your gallbladder, which would be very, very bad for you as well. And I put in here, about 1 in 5 cases of acute cholecystitis will end up to have emergency surgery to remove the gallbladder needed to treat the complication. And so someone may ask, how do I prevent this? How do I not end up on this situation? I had no idea what this was, so I didn't know how to prevent it. But hopefully today, if you've heard of cholecystitis today on this platform, there'll be a few things that you can do to prevent it, which is very basic stuff. First of all, trying to watch your weight. They said obesity can cause this as well. It can cause the risk of developing gallstones, which therefore you need to control your weight. It's not always possible to prevent it, I must say, cholecystitis. You can reduce your risk developing conditions by cutting the risk of the gallstones, adopting a healthy lifestyle, just eating well, making sure that you work out or exercise when possible, and also most importantly reducing your calories levels as well, which will help. And then I got a few, there's not much information I was searching for it, but if you just literally put on Google cholecystitis, I know it's a handful to meant to say it. there's lots of information that will come on or nhs.net. And then I love this podcast, We Are What We Eat. So with this podcast, there's a lot of information about health topics, including cholecystitis. And that's it. If does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Rita. For those who just joined, Rita just took us through cholecystitis. I have no idea how to mention it. I practiced earlier on today just for the show, but it's going to bits. But thank you, Rita. So she's spoken to us about cholecystitis, but as we normally do, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we can ask questions related to it's the same as gallstones, is it?
Yes. So basically, what it is you have your gallstones and you have inflammation. So the inflammation around the gallstone is what is called cholecystitis.
So that's what it is, inflammation of the gallstone. So if you have any questions that pertain to gallstone, inflammation of the gallstone, or whatever Rita spoke about today, right now, you can ask. And as usual, it's the Health Talk Show, which means any and every question can be answered. We've got Dr. Kojo here as well, who can also assist in answering some of the questions. So we'll be back after the short break, and we'll take your questions after that.
TAPTAP said. Oh, I was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness, they be will be everywhere a day and everywhere they go. TAPTAP Send got me covered. For if you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through TAPTAP Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TAPTAP Send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other time the one with him chilling, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play and App Store. TAPTAP Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Buy an interest-free home and pay within 36 months. Yes, Daimler Homes' new gold standard development, Hilton Court, has just commenced, and you can own a unit now and pay within 36 months without any interest. Starting at 95,000, you can own an elegant apartment. And guess what? Discounts are available from now till end of May. To learn more, visit our website at daimlerhomesgh.com or call us on 0200 584 558. Daimler Homes, the elegance of living.
Hello, and welcome back. So we, as mentioned before, already we've got questions coming in. But before that, so Rita just spoke to us about the inflammation of gallstones, which is also cholecystitis. Yes, yes, that's the best I can do. So right now we're going to go through some questions, and we've already got question coming in. So what type of foods should one avoid or eat in moderation to prevent getting cholecystitis?
Sorry, Rita, before you come in, you can also ask your questions in tree.
Okay.
I can take it from there. Yeah. Sorry, you can go ahead.
Okay. So for me, honestly, I've never had to think of what I eat because I thought I eat healthy. Okay. I eat normal. But once I had the cholecystitis, I realized that you have to eat low fat. So any cheesy food, I had to cut off. I couldn't eat pizza, which was sad for a few months. Any fatty food, you have to really cut it down, and that will make you lose weight. I must say, I have to warn you, because obviously you're not eating all the fatty food, but then you can, compromise with proteins and stuff. So you need to really sit down and watch what you eat if you've been diagnosed with cholecystitis. If you haven't been diagnosed with cholecystitis, as a normal day-to-day, you eat your normal food, but please, once you can, just walk, exercise, gentle exercise, eat veg, eat fruit, just the basic stuff. But once you've been diagnosed, then you really religiously have to watch your diet, because honestly, you get more attacks each time, and it's the most horrible pain I've ever had in my life. Horrible.
Thank you, Esther, and thank you, Rita. If there's anything Dr. Kojo would like to add.
And, I think we have a question from Auntie Liz.
Auntie Liz, please go on.
I wish you for me, Chamo, no, in particular, Dr. K. Nyawa, Mene Jonas. The question, me person me beside say, but also to treat the be a watch your mudada. A tray being good. I have to run to come and catch a bit of it. And tea gallstone. What's a set gallstone and so that gallbladder, right? Inflammation is around the gallbladder.
Yes, so the inflammation, no me pacho. I wish I had an illustration to show you. It's gallstone, gallbladder anymore. But inflammation, usually it's around the neck. So the neck of the gallbladder.
Right.
Inflammation, the reason why there's inflammation is because, as the bowel goes in, it squeezes, and then bowel, and then it produces around to go into the intestines to help break down the fat. And when it squeezes, stones only be to be shed the neck of the gallbladder. Now I get stuck. Stuck it wahona. I feel the intimate go baby na. That's where the inflammation will come. Now I feel the that's when you get the pain.
Auntie, I know deep pain,
and then a deep pain. It has to, because it doesn't cause any problem.
Okay.
There's a lot of us. More gallstones in the gallbladder, but any problem there because a move a gum a BDS so the and then it's me move now be shed the neck of the gallbladder no a shahona. That's where the problem becomes.
Okay. And what say? Forgive me, everyone. I came in late. I didn't hear any of the sentences. Me come here. I beg. Mama,
it's okay. Yeah.
And say, I didn't know we are. You to me a treat him and I just say, Dr. Kojo cat, and kwane to me, Emma, when you relief from your. The name Nadia said Dr. Abner to me, means mean to me, Mama.
But your Dr. could always be answer. I
think that Rita, I can say most of the times you end up having surgery. I say you connect your kukucha because painkillers, enya ade ebe ejuma oye de a o be fasa ba enya ade ebe ebe nti o say ye dey ye kone ekukutwa nti na o kan wie na kan pese me ma example bi yemfa say ye fie ye sink a block here sometimes it me koto Dr. Mazos yes say there was some clogging products bi nti ubehwie ye say jai 15 minutes nti no only painkillers na ye dey ye fa no uhwie gumba enye den enye ejuma obeye den obekwa akofa some what's it called I think I've forgotten the name is it the panja obeye but enye ejuma it's dey eno ne the other now but I just say akofa plumbers eba no mu bebie like drainage in so no mu yi like at the cry the air block it because it gets to some time in your money ma we the air the intimi and like intimi going to be so no more yi in your money one mu yi ria after the one say will be in so na itimi then like a go through but in this case and see you gallbladder or some mention to see yeah na so would dia would be to say pizza like ube like home for when it come because there's no bowel I didn't have one may break you fat no any honum biom into woody those fatty foods now obey so we are running and then all that so I mean the crack cream and that's I mean maybe this illustration will help people to understand better so just like she said I mean, 99.99% of it, you have to go under the knife.
Surgery, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, me da shwaka last one, I'm a common watum. And just say, you call near coach and now say, we did dinner so home for any idea na no net to me ma wo as a wo bloatine what kind of a to say a gastro whatever for the can it was me me ma be sad
gastroenterologist
oh abro for mo so much ra mo man kasa
I can take that.
Yeah, like so basically because the credit like Mimi, I had my operation in December. So I'm less than...
Before you continue. So are you talking as a person, you're talking from experience or
I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from experience.
Okay,
yes.
Mommy.
I'm talking from experience. Yeah. Because I happen me.
Okay.
It would be good for me to share my experience.
All right, go on.
Like Mimi, I had the operation in December. And it's less than 2 months now I had the operation. I haven't experienced experience biase me di pizza na me di aduane modu na me feel it say me person me fe ana say ana minya diarrhea. No. But I've met patients, so I have patients that look after who are not apagia omunya cholecystitis by because of cancer. So and then they'll tell me take your history. I'm say I had my gallbladder removed, and I'm say how I'm just interested. How was it? And I'll say it's fine. Over 30 years ago, 15 years, 10 years ago, it's fine. And I'll say the only issue they have is that maybe odi pizza odi aduane mu odo feel sick because it take a long time say aduane be break it down because uni sa bile system na break aduane and fat in down uni because ye fruit uni be it takes a long time for the food to break down to be feel sick, and sometimes obenya diarrhea is bile leak is part of ninina eka. But for me, I think I've had the surgery less than 2 months now and I haven't experienced any of that, and I know people who's had it years or months who hasn't almost symptoms in it. Generally it's safe. It's a safe procedure, and ultimately live your life normal. Ultimately do fufu. Do fufu first, no, so not me do fufu. What I say, that's the
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Liz. Thank you, Doctor.
Now, why are you laughing?
I'm just saying thank you for the question. It's really good.
It's really good.
As a well, any more questions? Also, I would also like to say shout out to our Facebook watchers and our friends, our YouTube friends and watchers as well. Shout out to you guys. We're not very good with sort of like shouting out to them, but yeah. As we wait for questions, any more? Would you like to? And thank you, Rita, for sharing your experience. All this personal to you, and obviously you've to be able to share it on this platform. Are there any more? Share.
Maybe you've said it already. Where is Dr. Akos today?
Oh, okay. Until it's Dr. Akos, as you know, doctors and on shift or evening shift. So you can't be here. I'm a voice. I'm not feeling too well.
I can help you. Don't worry. We are all here to support.
I'm here to support. But you can really any general health questions with me. Be for any general health question. Is it life threatening?
I think it can be. I don't know if this person is Ghanaian or not, because I know I have friends who I've told them to LinkedIn and they're not Ghanaians. But a bit to me, I life but a bit to me, I life threatening. The reason being is because when yes, it's cholecystitis, but it started affecting other organs. So I started to have pancreatitis, which was really bad, and a bit a bit to me is so bad to say I feel not then infection attack other organs or body. And it's very important, a very important imperative. So, like you seek emergency assist, like care whenever possible. And I'm patrol. So you can't say surgery. Don't be scared because me, I was like a baby, and I'm a healthcare professional. I was so scared. I've never had surgery. But it is safe. It's a safe procedure. It's only 1 hour or 2 hours, and you go home the same day. If you have to have surgery, then that's the option. You should have your surgery.
All right. To add to it, I'll try and do both Tree and English at the same time since we have. Okay, so it can lead to complications, and the complications here, the gallbladder can rupture. Mm-hmm. Now, when it rupture, that's where the infection comes in. It can get it gets severe. So it's like a sac. So first of all, I think people are struggling to pronounce cholecystitis. Let me take you back to medical school. Anytime you see any medical word and the ending is itis, I-T-I-S, is inflammation. So get that off the way. Now, the chole is the bowel and normal cysts. So it's cholecystitis. Cholecystitis. The cyst is referring to a sac. So now, the gallbladder, being a sac, can actually rupture, and when it ruptures, it can pour into a big like abdomen, and this can lead to a life-threatening condition called peritonitis. Mm-hmm. Infection of the abdominal lining. In the abdomen, there's a lining and the moment it gets infected, it can cause a whole lot of things, which is also another thing that you have to actually pay attention to. Now, say a rupture, it can lead to tissue death. Tissue no sutimiering. Say a blockage tissue ni wa ye big gangrene. Gangrene akwa say adie air pro. And I say adie outside you, now so air pro, how it looks like. Now, how much more inside. Into the air pro, when the thing is gangrenous right now, it can also cause life-threatening conditions. There's also something called abscess. I think so we know abscess. It's what's it called? Pus. It forms a pus, and it's when, and also say in treaty, it can also cause infection. So these are the complications that can actually result out of gallbladder if it's left untreated. Lastly, it can cause sepsis, blood infection. So in the severity of it, it can spread into the blood, which can lead to sepsis. And I think so we've already spoken about sepsis here and then all that. So these are some of the things that can happen. So yes, it is life-threatening, and when it's complicated, and it can lead to some of these things when it is left untreated. All right, I think is it Dina? Dina has a question.
Yo, me that's it. Bipacho mantem. Na gallbladder na mo kan kwa no ne dey na symptoms and so anything. That's it.
Hello, Tina, Dina, me pacho. So gallbladder no ewo underneath as a liver no acid is there. Yeah, adekitwe bi na ehho.
Can you show your slide again?
Yeah, let me see if I can show my slide. Let me see if I can show it again. So Dina me patroni. So it will live an in and I will go blood and so I shall see her.
Okay.
And the honor na bow no I say bow no a liquid I produce ho. But the purpose of the bow is say the bow no every time when you eat it go way no is squeezy. Na squeezy bow no na akọ intestine no ha say na go break it down the fat. So that's the job of the bowel, to me break it down fat. And inflammation. So if you have It's gallstone okay or hosa, but unya gold bladder no wo, but unya gold stones as a ubienya kidney stones no. Stones no develop ne egu ha se egu gold bladder na se. Obu ha ye nyina ne na moni pa bebre wo gold stones e wo mo yem but onim se wo bi because enkosu problem dia ma no. What I say? But the only started causing problem say a free as he has say na abeshe the neck of the gold bladder no because the reason why it me yini say it depending on the size it be mu so say so a very difficult say betimi move but so a netimi move na beshe ho e move beshe ho na fe na inflammation ni infection no na sha say na fe na wunya pain no a hono na be hu say bibi cause pain and then the other thing I wanted to mention was it's called gallstones in the small bowel, gallstones ileus or whatever they call it. So it's me free. I say na ababato intestine, small intestine, which can cause a blockage. So I mean I work for colorectal cancer, so I've had patients who's had those that happen and a intestine like it's so dangerous. Said it's in a mouth so sick. I omutimi chat on snow every depending baby crab. It's really it can be very dangerous and very bad because me patients be brea omunye bia if free has say na babesha has say baby na cause a blockage na cause ischemia of the bowel, so they have to resect the bowel.
Yeah. That's it. Na me pachonti say bibi says yeah ubetimi ehunu ne ntempa say doctor betimi ehu because I had a minim say bibi ya wo ne say wo in pain first thing ebeka sifa painkiller.
Yes.
Enti o fa de bia o benom ya bema ebeka sifa we fa we benom be bia na di ben 1 week cry ya ko be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Na din so wadwenti sane mo kire ya ka say free ha beba be hye sa intestine we mu just say wo be wu an say wo ya ko.
It's true and it happened. So mimi I don't know if you now or her earlier me can mimi there ne happen you know. It took like it's happening from February last year until December and sana me operation. So it took a long time. It happened you know, first time no me call GP. And say it's acid reflux. What you say? So until mommy on my prison, that's or whatever, and I'm fire, but still I was still getting the pain. So then I was like, there must be something wrong somewhere. And then the last when I got the attack, say attack in the back, we call it attack because any normal pain now would from now like fit. Like it's extreme pain and the being who I bit me my pain even painkillers. So for me it was so severe that luckily because I'm a healthcare professional, I seek attention quickly. So I cannot me describe my symptoms. I share my colleagues or my doctors and surgeons, and then no catch them say me go ultrasound, I'm go ultrascan. It's scan and say yes, this is the problem. And then problem no consultants and the guy say I need surgery. And no catch him and me say no, I don't want surgery because me even though me a healthcare professional, I've never had a surgery before. So I didn't. My call for surgery, no, I said I'll take antibiotics instead of the surgery. And I took the antibiotics hoping say I better get it better. And get it better. It got worse. It gets it worse. I'm be jaundice. And I'm saying pancreatitis. So it's very, very dangerous. So who experience any pain, especially at the top parts where maybe our liver no wanna, you have to seek early medical assistance and see. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, and sorry to add to that, I think one of the characteristics of the pain is so we started so feels her pain. It is actually at the way they describe it at the right side of your belly, but it kind of radiates to the back.
Yeah.
Into the movements also as a yeah, honum no yeah. Then you feel that same from that same side. No, tend to say be a witching, so yeah. Then you should probably be thinking around. It could be anything, but these are some of the things that can be associated with it. Yeah. Jonas.
Yeah, the way. Oh yes, sorry.
Go for Jonas.
Mala. But Michiamu.
Yeah, Joso.
Good evening.
That's what done for me. The way I can see, I know my idea. Can say my boko, me time by tea. Me buy my idea, me share it. But who can explanation about the way the page is by in the betty? What done for me? You come on, a drabble. I know you say no be na similar.
I mean, from where we are coming from, these are some of the. It's very common. I'm for say spiritual attacks because it's not a normal pain like that, but it is very necessary that the moment you start feeling that way, and as someone say. Bibisa Koswa. Just do your part. With the hospital, check is a BBI okay. After they've checked and they realize that it has nothing to do with the medical condition, then we can actually be going towards that side. That is where we come from, and that is what people believe in. But so far as it's a human body, it needs to be checked, and hospital is the first place that you are supposed to go to. In as much as I may agree with you, you say you are boarding account because I remember back in school, yes, our topic where yes, a man forecast spiritual attacks, but a serious medical condition. So I mean, you have a point there, but just exclude it and then get to know that it has nothing to do with any medical condition. Then we'll be able to go ahead now. I the opposite way.
My last question is, this thing that there's some. I think green. I want live on green. Was like kitty. That's me. I can see. I don't know. I can't answer no.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer. And yeah, I'm not. And I may share. You see about.
I'll share it.
No, I think you didn't get. You didn't bring a picture of the bow. I don't know if they can see. Okay. I wanted to get a picture of the bow, but it looks like. Okay, so it's look. Do you have a picture of the bow? Do you like how
the bow?
Yeah, the bow.
Yes, I. Let me have a look.
So in the it's yellowish, and I think say no can say a build it up, she started having symptoms like jaundice once in the near yellow. Into if we saw the green him as a ensue. And you see the body is so wonderful that just that liquid, the way the thing look like, and it break the fatty tissues, I wanted to show a picture of how the look like, and then but
so this one.
Yeah, the green one, but I wanted the fluid itself.
The fluid itself, okay.
Yeah. In the only I did green, Jonas, and now who know. Yeah.
Yes. Is that powerful?
Yeah. So that is it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Tilly.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Maybe what is the cause of the pain? Is it to do with food? Why would you get that? Does something trigger the cause of the pain? Okay.
It's to do with food. So for me, the pain. This is funny. I thought, oh, I'm gonna be careful what I eat. Because na minya pain, I was getting the pain more often. So I said, oh, I'll eat a little bit. I'll eat it. It doesn't matter how little you eat. For me, it was triggering because of every time I eat. So then I decided sometimes I won't even eat because I'm so scared to eat because of pain. It's so bad that so it triggers with food, but it doesn't matter what you eat. And you say then I'm getting the pain. No, it doesn't matter what you eat, it will trigger it. and it's triggering it because of the inflammation around it. And it's in a wunya pain because a honor I saw a inflammation and it's in a pain beba.
It's inflammation, a dear nema inflammation neighbor. It just happened and I said BB nema inflammation neighbor.
Inflammation neighbor because stones no move from a good sack in the mono. And then I make I say I be a best neck the neck you know hono. It's in a gallbladder and into me in Juma ye in the ass of bread, you know. Now I'm a hono. I don't know, doctor, if you can explain it. I saw.
I don't know, maybe another illustration. Have you ever been choked by a food before?
Yeah.
And then you feel that it is stuck, right?
Yeah.
That is how the gallbladder feels like. It has no way, like the stones is not able to go. So you sometimes have something we call the muscle contraction, the gallbladder spasms. It's that they are gallbladder and then so you say, did not stones near the eba by force. But it's so small in such a way so we are once atron. So that is where the sharp pain comes from. Good. So the moment it happens like that, you realize that a is just having this spasms, and with the inflammation, or the moment the thing is blocked, like she explained, when it's blocked and it's not getting away, a tiny hole into it feels uncomfortable. It try as much as possible to release itself, but it's not able to do that. Now, when you eat food again, I did not block it at that, and I will see. So what is happening is still going to cause like more pain. And even without the food, that is where the contraction or the spasms what comes, because it's like it's choking. It's trying as much as possible to release itself, but it's not able to work to do that. So that is where the pains also come from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Midase.
Thank you.
Auntie Liz, do you have a question?
Yes, Namika say me no tell bisa say what caused the stone. Stones normal fifi hin e begu.
That's a good that's a very good question.
Okay, mark that one down. And also obisi me well spokeswoman. One anti come for say me misa manifest lock up or another meeting, and two obisi the surgery now there's a keyhole that they don't cut you open unless stones nefifra Google baby you go search for them. Otherwise, if they are still in the gallbladder, they just do a pinhole. I can't even talk now. Yes, you cut your baby and son and I be a no match it's not operation and scary and also so what did you so when the attack is on it won't just a baby become be a and any baby answer be manager kwapim so no anebo beto no a obey say that's the mission now. What I said lockdown write down yes I'm ready for the answer.
Hey, Auntie Liz, wait a minute. We a doctor, pa. Say no watch from we do.
Oh, why the you many doctor abna disano. Many doctor abna we went to the same medical school.
That's right.
Okay.
And Auntie Rose and I said Dr. Kwejo, who is giving me the answer?
For the stones, no.
The
yes.
stones.
I think say me akaka no me my doctor no wakaka kono zakadede. So I think the stones are is developed because they're like calculoid. I don't know how to explain that in so I say okay, so we in kidney stones. So it's like crystalloid, calculoid. It's a build-up of cholesterol, the fatty food. It's me build it up, but they not stick it together. Now form stones, it's all about what we eat. The fatty food, cholesterol now you're consuming, it gathers, and then it will build up, and then it will create this stone. So like a calculoid or, crystalloids stones.
All right. Just like she said, no. So what happens, when there's gallstones, there's also another term for it, which is called cholelithiasis, right? Now, no near to send your kind in Yama Bibria form, it forms like should I say a crystals. So imagine, say, let me use another part of the body. Unsa would deny Yama Koshisha Wusima a packet, a building or honoma. I feel the toothpick be, very realize as a baby kakakibi because I did win a show with room. So that is how it is. Like you are eating, it comes from different things, and then build it up or honum, then clump it together as a stone. Now, Bao it looks like a starch form. It looks some wavy. So what it also does is say they are able to stay in it. And then once I say, once I form it, and also one money they form money like stone, not like these crystals. And so when you have these different deposits of elements inside there, I said, actually, baby, should I say you don't wash it or whatever that it is, then it forms and it gets stacked into the moment. It happens, and I was say, I form it like a stone, which is over, which then gets over there. It can form like different sizes of stones into a bisusa, and then it can. I don't know. Maybe I might probably look for a picture of a gallstone that you see how it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's very nice. I'm sorry, but it looks nice to me. I mean, you'll be amazed to see, BB say it to me for me inside like you. And it is very possible just because we eat different things and then they just clog up and then it just forms a stone. So, nyamana yanga see deny nyamana echo inside the onana heading forming up those stones. So, yeah. I don't know if, I think Dina also wants to ask a question.
The question about putting say pain ba me funny say in a year no e be betimi aba once or twice na be another year na ba betimi a show ho ache ana say sanity my alarm kakra because me baba ko e wo ho otimi nya sa pain no bufa so but last be na mka say me hu say udi pizza na wo ye mo ya entijedi enti wo kana madwen yi kakra tina mami bisa ai.
Yeah, Dina, it's true. And that me patcho the name person can say go stop when you get the attacks or when you have inflammation of the gallbladder. And no, it doesn't. It's not AVI and yeah, raise and paying for and then crack like you can get it. Anybody can get into no. But it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how old somebody is, they can get that. And so you have a right to think it'd be a better possible. You can get. Some people have it for 5 years. It'd be this year when you attack once. It'd be next year when you attack 2. It'd be this year when you attack 5, 10, 20. It just it varies on individual person. But the more they attack, the bad it is.
Yeah.
The more attack the bad it is.
I'll just pick up on that. The as you are saying, say you've been alarmed. I think you should just let. Is it your son or your daughter? I don't know.
My daughter, 15 years.
All right, cool. I think you should just go and then check. It could be anything, but also for her to be going through that kind of pain, it could be what's it called? Any gastro issues, but just make sure that she gets it checked as soon as possible, especially when it has to do with these fatty foods and then stuff like that. Yeah.
Dina ba ofe.
Me patron say I ofe, but yes ana me wo me activated charcoal no me mama ni bi but me man na be we nche no wafe.
Okay.
Na pain no say okay.
All right. One thing that I would also advise that don't be giving always activated charcoal. just go to the hospital and then just go and clear it off. Then you know it's okay, this is it. Because it's not everything to say if you know doctors in the house and they can count, but we might be causing more harm than good, thinking say we are trying to do something. You think say oh yeah, it relieves and then you're fine, but it can build up in a long time and then you have other complications which you don't want to experience. So patrol so we now time. That's the reason why you guys need to be joining the show. And one or two. One thing I just wanted to put across, just because I have interest in obs and gynae, is that it is more likely to develop in women due to hormonal influences. That is estrogen increases. So, this is the reason why I've taken my time to dedicate it to women, because it's a complicated issue, especially in men. Sometimes maybe a man or so more maybe an ACBB. I just know that their system, it's more like a heavy duty system, and it causes a whole lot of things, and a lot of things go through their system as compared to men. Yeah. So estrogen increases cholesterol levels in the bowel, which can also lead to gallstones. So you have to try as much as possible to pay attention to that. I remember in medical school, I think the risk factors, we have the 4 or 5 Fs of cholecystitis. A female, fatty or over 40 female, a fertile woman, I think a fat, and then the last one is fair, which is optional. So the moment, like in Toba, sometimes we look at you beside age, are you a female? Are you fat or are you obese? And what's it called? Are you over 40s? Are you fertile? All these things we try as much as possible to jot it down. So try as much as possible as a woman. Say I can't say you are what you eat. And I think Dr. Akushua always stressed on the fact that in Yama ED, the things that we consume is very important. So try as much as possible to eat healthy, especially the women too. So that's what I wanted to throw across.
Dr. Kojo, we are gynae the patron mammy say with this condition, you know, a bit may affect the menstruation.
So good. You know, when you are the hormonal fluctuations when you are having your menses, yes, it can and then it cannot. The reason why I'm saying that, because the moment you have hormonal imbalance, like as our body is stable, like everything is just going wrong. What do you say? So sometimes say you can leave one location to another location, and then your menses can even delay because your body is not used to this particular location. Say you are going through something of this sort, and then you start having your menstruation. You realize that it is late, it is not coming, and all of that. So yes and then no, because you can't really tell. The moment it is hormones that are working, you will never know until affected, or it can be delayed. It be one of my 80 bantam. And all these are due to hormonal responses and how the body is feeling as to how they should respond to some of these things. Yes and then no, just because you can't really predict hormonal imbalances and then how they are. Sometimes you might have it late, you might have it early, you go to the hospital and then they will tell you that it is normal. Just because the fact say you have gallstones or something of that sort doesn't necessarily mean that you're having an impact. It's just the hormones come into play. Yeah. All right, I think we have another question, Patricia.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Nyamisha mupa ne enchechira mudiabe. Menya gallstones ni bi emrebi na me wo Ghana no. Me ye test nyina ye hu. Nana symptoms ne me say me ni ubedi nkomo asra within a minute na asa me yare. Betimi afia gise di nsuo si me so ansa na pain na ko. Me be krom ha no mansa na ye hu se ma akoma akoten. Eni ye yi free ntie ma ye yi me gallbladder ne kra. Nanansa baba sa baby ye ye no. E wo ana se minya pain na e ma me feel dizzy na me okay. Minim se bia gallbladder na ye ni nti na e cause sa wo se e be a different baby dia. Ba ye ya che ye ni 2013. But say me hu sa de no pa.
All right. Okay, I think Dina, do you have? Sorry, is it Rita?
Yes.
Maybe any question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Auntie, I think sir, it could be, it could not be anything, because your stomach and I say your abdominal is very big, and there's a lot of things that could happen. It all depends on the location. It could be, I mean, if you're having pain there, it could, because it's very close to your liver. It could be a liver issue. It could be any other organ, and it causes that pain, or it could be because you've had the surgery and the scarring, which is called adhesions, which could be happening. So, adhesions, as I said, corona, sticky together, into sticky together now causes scarring, and that scarring can cause a lot of pain. Like, I'm not me specialty in yet gallstones area and now upper GI area, maybe a colorectal cancer, a lower bowel. But a lot of patients are on my operation that I do a long time ago. I feel your mother back because of scarring. Of course, inside because of consequences because of the operation. So that could be some reasons, I feel say Auntie, I was all checking it out to see say a divided na coso. And first of all, obviously the first line will be your GP. No way explain it to your GP what you think is happening. And then they will advise you further what the plan will be. Say beyond the investigation to see say when you're scarring and adhesions or what causes our pain, because that's possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's something we call what's it called again? Post-cholecystomy syndrome. That is after IIS surgery. She mentioned it earlier on that you can continue to have digestive issues and pain even years after surgery, because now the body is built in such a way that it is programmed, say, it's supposed to break down fatty foods. And this time around, ye gallstones, ye gallbladder, and if it is not there. So the body is trying to do something that is really not used to, like it's used to, but the support for it is not there. And the moment it happens, your body feels uncomfortable. That is when you might probably start having like digestive issues and all that, which she explained. There's something also called bowel is it reflux gastritis?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So what you need to know is that without a gallbladder too, bowel just flows directly into the stomach instead of being stored in.
Okay.
The bowel reflux gastritis but but what I'm trying to say is gallbladder and if you on the bowel on a normal day is supposed to go into sorry.
Because as Antifo baby say, that is the bowel attached to the liver.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Auntie.
Now let's move on.
All right. You bonyuni free on the bowel no any the bonyuni what it does, they say, it go directly into the stomach, and instead of saying KBR, a best store now it release it in small amounts, a shegum to say yeah would be a tap heading a shegum internally say it can cause burning sensation, nausea, it can cause bloating, and it can some people to after what's it called they have peptic ulcers and acid reflux. That is after the gallbladder has been removed, and it can also cause pain, and all these. They can. But this one is a bit deep. There's something called sphincter of OD dysfunction (SOD). A muscle be I don't control the bowel flow. No, like I say, cock be a should I say? Yeah, please, I don't understand tree properly. Wow. Anyway, we are trying to do both tree and an English at the same time. So just because we have people here who speak tree and then they don't speak tree. So the sphincter
we'll mix and match.
We will try and then do it. And it's also good for you to also learn one or two from the Ghanaian culture. But that's just by the way. So what happens that we have the sphincter of OD dysfunction where it's like a muscle, a control. That's what controls the bowel flow. So more like, let me say, a cock, which the body in itself tells how much bowel, and I say bowel do saying I mean release as at the food that I have actually consumed. So when it's dysfunction, that it becomes tight, and there is also spasm, like just like I said, no, say BB as a BB choky, and then it's kind of like I say a choky, and then all that. When there's a dysfunction of that, what control the bowel flow, no, you realize that the bowel comes back up, which also causes pain and then indigestion. Indigestion, very simple. The moment you take something in and it's like the thin essay flow, and you are feeling uncomfortable and it's giving you some uncomfortable, you want to vomit, you are feeling like you are nauseous and then all of that, no. These amount to that. So the sphincter of OD dysfunction is also something that you probably need to look at, but you want to not understand it. Moment I say, unless if you're at a hospital and then a scan has been done, that is post surgery. You realize that some of these things, there are a whole lot of things that is actually going to cause. But on the good side, it's not a big deal of that to say, maybe you may die or no. It has not. It's a good thing, just like she said. She has done the surgery. I think our sister Patricia or Mama Patricia also came to say she has done it since 2003 or 13, and it's okay. Just that you just have some of these symptoms here and there, which is not so severe. But the moment you start getting severe and then you realize that it is so uncomfortable that you can't even take it, you just have to go and then check it, because a bit maba say a be before for cry, and it has nothing to do with what has even happened. So yeah, that's what I had to add to it.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Thank you, Rita, for your shared experience and coming to explain cholecystitis. Gallbladder inflammation. I would just call it that. And thank you, Dr. Kojo, for facilitating and also answering the questions. Today, I haven't, as you can tell, I'm not feeling too well, so I've been quite dull and quiet. Sister Rita, is there any parting message anything that you want to leave us with before you?
Me, I always say you are what you eat. I think a lot of affecting your health and is because of what we consume. As long as you're careful, if you're now you take your exercise serious. Exercise isn't just a gym. Exercise isn't just a if you grab it to me and 90 steps and so but me I be being to an more, just, and also try to be a human and take our health seriously, try to relax, find ways to relax, and and this platform is very good because we share a lot of different topics to highlight different health topics, but I'm enjoying it more every Wednesday, near more topics.
Yes, I support it with 10 bags of cement. Dr. Kojo, any last words?
Where we are coming from, we like our fatty foods, our delicious food, fried meat, palm oil dishes, and then in Yama way, let's try as much.
We had.
Thank you. Just try as much as possible to do this in moderation and keep healthy. The last thing I'm going to say is that if you're in the UK, try as much as possible to wear a nose mask, but because there's this terrible, I think I read today that there's this virus in the air and all of that, just keep yourself safe, because this the flu this time around is very terrible and it's not so good. And if you have a little one at home too, try as much as possible to keep him or her like out of reach to anyone who has been exposed or anyone exhibiting flu symptoms. So yeah, you guys should take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. So just before we leave, a few housekeeping. I also want to shout out to Dr. Akos, because she, on her break, I saw her pop up. It's if you're still on the show. Thank you for joining us. And want to thank all our faithful watchers. This show is brought to you by TAPTAP Send, download, share, and OT Media. Just to remind you, sir, I'm aware that my voice sounds a bit weird. Sorry, guys. But tomorrow we have a time with TAPTAP Send, same time, 8 p.m. And then on Friday, it's Ask the Lawyer. So that will be, if anything, all your immigration or any legal questions. Also, Sanya, Dr. Kujoka, you know, I hope that he was taking notes, because maybe any of the stuff that they mentioned, or maybe I over my head. But anything that you have that you want us to talk about, if anything, any topics, any particular health issues or whatever, if you message, if you share it with OT Media community, if you follow Oasis, let us know, and then we'll be able to put it in, if anything, our schedule and talk about it. And also want to encourage, say, when the question time comes now, it doesn't have to be pertaining to the particular topic we're talking about. It can be anything, because usually there are no questions. And in like 10 minutes to time, they're all questions. So you can literally ask any and everything. Even if your nail is like, you have a problem with a nail, just this is the time. The doctors are on here, the healthcare professionals are on here. Please, we encourage you to ask any questions that you have. So without further ado, have a lovely night, and thank you, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Jonas, baby,
My chef in particular. You know we can't get this retirement/birthday shouldn't go wrong.
Everything is almost ready, but small problem.
Why, what's up?
We are way over budget, Kweku. Everything is almost twice the estimate.
Alibaba, okay? No worries. So with TAPTAP Send, I have got a cake and decorations covered for here. You handle the food. If any extra expenses comes up, just text me or call me. I'm off today, so I should be easily reachable.
Hey, Chairman, it is for day.
Say, no be easy. You Chairman has time and money.
Allah,
Kweku tap, Kweku do, Kweku that.
our Chairman can call you.
Hey, Alande, Chairman send them.
TAPTAP Send. Papa no.